Hi, this is Deborah Clutter. I hope everybody's doing good today. I have a new project for you, and this one is going to be a chicken quilt. And this is the pattern for the chicken quilt. It is a like a twin size quilt, and it's made from a layer cake and a jelly roll. That's what I used for it, and a little bit of yardage. So this is what the quilt looks like. And it has, I don't have a lot of room here, so we'll see how much of it you can actually see here. So this is the little chicken applique for the center of the block. And then it has just some scrap on the side. And that's pretty much what the whole quilt looks like. And I think it's super cute. So there's 20 of those little chickens in the pattern. And you can do this on your embroidery machine. I have provided the embroidery pattern for the chicken. If not, you can also do this in free motion on your sewing machine. Now, I'm going to show you how to do that in the video. And it was the first time I ever tried it. It was, really quick, and I didn't really practice much. But I think with a little bit of practice, you'd probably be able to do it pretty well. So this is kind of the diagram that I provided in the pattern so that you can trace this on your fabric and do your own chicken if you want. So that's part of the pattern. And let's see. What else do I have in here? I guess the rest of it is just showing how the blocks are put together. So in the pattern, I just showed this little scrappy piano key border. On my quilt, I actually put a solid border on the edge, and because I needed something to break up all the scrappiness of the quilt, and so I added the solid border. So you're going to see in the end of the video the finished quilt, or the finished quilt top. I haven't quilted it yet, and you'll see this border. It's different than in the pattern, but that's the only thing I changed. I added the blue border. So I hope you like this. I tried to use every bit of scrap I had, by making the little piano key border, and I still ended up with a pile of 2.5 by 5.5 inch strips that I didn't use. So I guess I could use them for a different project. I hope you have fun, and I hope you enjoy this. Thanks. For this project, I chose a layer cake and jelly roll by Kimberbell. That's called Vintage Flora, and I think it's really pretty. I went ahead and cut my layer cakes in half. You're going to have 2 chickens that look the same. This is the body of the chicken, so you only need half a layer cake, so you need 10 of the layer cakes. I got all my 6-inch block borders cut out and ready. These are all leftovers. My center squares are done. My sashing, and these will be for the 2.5 inch borders around the block. So I just need to sew those together and sets of 4, and then cut them to 2.5 inches. And these are my cornerstones that'll go with the sashing. And all the rest of the jelly rolls I'll use for the border, and then I'll have to cut some of the layer cakes to finish the border. So I'm going to start out with some cutaway stabilizer. This is no-show mesh, and I have a snap hoop that is 9.5 by 9.5. You need one that's at least 8.5 bigger than 8.5. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. We will be floating this fabric in the hoop, so just position it over the placement line. And the reason we're doing that is so that we can square it up easily. So this placement line is 8.5 inches, so you just want it a little bit over on each side. Next step is to stitch the outline of the body and his comb, beak, and his feet, and his tail. Now we're going to place our fabric over the chicken body and start the next step. And this is going to tack down the fabric. And then we'll go ahead and start the last step. Even though you see the chicken body trimmed in this segment, I did wait until I took it out of the hoop, and then I trimmed the chicken body and then trimmed the block to 8.5 inches. Okay, I have my center square and I put SF 101 excuse me, on it, because you're going to need some interfacing on this when you do this. And then I just drew around, or drew on here with a friction pin by laying it over my design, and we're gonna try it out. I'm gonna start with the feathers over here, and I have a BSR on my Bernina. It's a stitch regulator. I think you could just do this free motion too, if you want to do that. And I haven't used one of these in a long time, so it's going to take me a minute to figure it out. It's not like the best ever, but it's not really that bad. The first stitches, the tension was too tight, and so it kind of got a little bit wonky. So I just need some glue, and I'm going to put some glue on this so it doesn't move around. And we'll see if we can do this. Oh goodness. I realized after watching this, I placed the chicken body over his beak and his little feathers on the bottom. So be careful where you place his body. Stop it there and draw some. I don't think I can see the rest of it through this paper, so I kind of know where his eyeballs are. So I'm just going to draw an eyeball and some chicken wings. I mean, really, I drew them the first time, so kind of small. Let's start with his eye. All right. Oh, goodness. Let's take a look at this thing. And you can't see it. So there is my chicken. And I actually think it turned out pretty good for not practicing. So if you want to make the chicken that way instead of using the embroidery, you can do it. When you're done with your block, go ahead and trim it to 8.5 inches and just use that basting line. Kind of square it up. You can remove the basting line if you don't want it in there, but it's not going to show in the end. After your chicken blocks are done, you're going to take your strip sets and sew them in sets of 4, and then cut these 2.5 inches. And those will go on the side of your chicken block. And then your 6.5 inches, you need to sew those together. And those will go on the top of your chicken block. And it should look something like this. And you know, you can just take your fingernail and rough up the edge of your chicken. He's supposed to look organic and kind of messy, so it should look like that. So go ahead and sew that block together. After you finish all your chicken blocks, go ahead and lay them out. Now I did lay these out before I sewed them together, but then I realized after I had sewn them together I have too many of the darker colors in my block. So I ended up having to take some of those pieces out and replacing them. So when you initially lay your quilt out without the chicken block sewn, make sure you have a variety of colors, and it probably would be better to choose more strips to create your bottom and top border than I did. I only chose a couple, like I think I chose 4 different colors. I should have chose more than 4. And so I'm just looking at it, trying to decide if I really want to take those out and replace them, and I did replace some of them, and then I just left the rest. And I don't really like some of the lighter colors that I used in the sides of the block. I think it would look better with some medium tone colors. So anyway, pick out the colors you want and then lay them out before you sew the block. So I have the inside of my quilt done, all the chicken blocks. And I was just going to put on this piano key type border without this blue border, but I thought it needed something to break it up because it is a lot of patchwork for me. So I did put on the blue border, and then I'm getting ready to put this little 5-inch border on. And we'll see how it looks. Almost done. The quilt ended up being 71 by 85 after I got the piano key border on. And I think it looks pretty good. I think I could have chose some darker colors in or around the block. But overall, I think it looks nice, and it's a nice size twin quilt. Thanks.